Hi, my name is Ashley Volz with Informa, and today I'll be speaking with Soumya Mahapatra, who has 20 years of experience leading large-scale digital transformation at global healthcare and medical device companies, including Essenvia. He is the CEO and founder. And today we'll be talking about the state of MedTech transformation and digital innovation. Soumya, thank you for being here with me today.
Yeah, thank you, Ashley. It's a pleasure to be on the call with you.
Yeah, excited to dive in. Obviously, we're hearing a lot about AI and digital transformation across all industries, but you tell me what you're hearing and seeing in regards to the medtech space specifically?
Sure. I think having led transformation programs throughout my career, I've also done a little bit of research to really see what's going on. I have a slide that I think can speak to these numbers of what is happening and is going on with our industry specifically. As you can see, there are three very compelling statistics. Almost 51% of medical device companies are seeing that digital innovation is a longer term investment. That means they're not looking at these as once and done. They're looking at a continuous digital innovation that is far more strategic for their company's growth and roadmap. Within those, almost 53% have already taken action in terms of creating a concrete plan to execute on that transformation. In fact, a good number of them are also actively investing into testing and applying artificial intelligence for solving complex and critical business use cases. So I would say MedTech is being a little behind, but definitely catching up very rapidly with the other industries in terms of digital innovation and transformation, but also looking at use cases for the applications of artificial intelligence to accelerate their transformation.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard there can be a lot of misconceptions about adopting, that maybe it can be daunting for companies, expensive, and a big commitment. What would you say to concerns like these?
Yeah, I think in terms of urgency, I see, as you can see, even from the numbers, it's definitely there. Most companies do understand that this is how they thrive and sustain and grow. But I also want to take the opportunity to share that there's definitely a lot of misconceptions in terms of how complex most medical device companies might think their digital transformation journey is. On a very high level, you can see, as a company, I would think if it was complex and difficult for my peers in another medical device company, it's going to be equally difficult for us, and we have to follow the same game plan that they did, right? And similarly, we get caught up too much in technology and forget that it has to be more about the business. And then just in terms of the approach, there's definitely very different and varying opinions of where to start, what to do. So we can talk a little bit about that and dive in. And the last and most important part, I think, which we a lot of times tend to ignore, is how long is this journey going to be? Like, when am I really going to be able to justify the time and investment into this effort? So I think that those are the 4 or 5 myths or misconceptions that I frequently notice, Ashley.
Okay, yeah. I mean, tell me more about the myth that maybe it's a massive cost and hard to justify a return on the investment. What would you say to that?
I think we should always start with a business specific opportunity, right? Like, our number one goal is to see a business problem, then combine that with what and how to lead a transformation, and to look at it in terms of how important or urgent is solving this problem and what benefits it can have as a company, right? A great example is in terms of a company that's trying to expand their portfolio of products from the European region, and now they want to expand into the North American region, right? Bringing those products to market. The clearest business opportunity is how quickly can we get an approval for these products and start commercializing that, which is very different from another company that might be facing recalls on the products that they're already selling. It's a safety issue where the existing business is suffering and the patient safety is at stake, right? You both have opportunities, but they are going to look very, very different in terms of which one you prioritize and how you handle them. Also, what path you take and approach that you need to be looking at. The solution that you might look for expanding to another country is there technology that can accelerate my submission process, right? Can AI come in and help me reuse some of what I have done for the European approvals and actually automate or simplify or streamline the approval process for another country or geographic region, right? And if that is an opportunity where what could be a 12 to 24-month time, and now you can shrink it to a 6 to 9 months to go to a new market, it could be a huge value for a medical device company, right? So I think those are like important parts of how I look at this transformation.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, and what would you say though, if someone says it requires disrupting the way my regulatory team currently works? And is that something you hear a lot?
Yeah, I think we are a solution that was born from our own problems and needs that we faced in the industry working in the regulatory affairs department, right? So when we built the solution, we already kept in mind what's important to us if we were to adopt a solution or if we were to solve a problem, right? And we know that we have so much work and our teams are usually smaller as regulatory affairs. We don't have a lot of time to learn software that's built for another industry and now has to be heavily customized to break the way we work, right? We do understand there has to be a shift in mindset and some change, but we do almost expect that these workflows need to already take into account how on a broad level regulatory affairs teams work. And solutions like ours that are already kept built keeping in mind the end users, which is the regulatory affairs teams in medical device companies, definitely do not disrupt your workflow. They actually augment what you do, and they allow you to get onboarded and trained on the platform or software much faster.
What about myth 3, which was about the global implementation with heavy stakeholder involvement from multiple teams? And what can you tell us about the reality of that?
Yeah. I think digital transformation is definitely a commitment. I think the company needs to get behind the fact that we are not going to be doing things the same way, and it needs a mindset change and adaptation. However, we can always start small. We are in the modern age where we are able to do small pilots or proof of concepts or take one specific department with one specific problem statement, implement the solution, understand the organizational culture and the transformation journey there, do things faster, and then slowly expand or scale into other departments or at the corporate level, right? And that allows you to de-risk massive transformation and committing a huge number of staff and resources into something that might take months or years and will definitely disrupt a lot of the work. So yeah.
Great. And myth 4 is very common in enterprise software, that it takes years to start using the solution and realizing the benefits. But what has your experience with the Essenvia implementation in large companies been?
Yeah, I think old school software that was built in a certain way definitely, and for other industries, but is being customized for medical device companies. Definitely the implementation time is really long because one, the team implementing it might lack or lacks the medical device expertise or the domain knowledge. So translating what the customers eventually need into how the product or platform or solution has to be configured can take multiple iterations and back and forth discussions. That is one of the primary factors why implementation times can be long drawn, and then the time to learn and onboard into solutions and actually start using it to see value can be really 3 to 5 years. That was how things worked in the past. Today solutions are built in such a way that you can take a modular approach, take build and implement one module at a time, and then get accelerated value within 6 months or less, right? Where you already get to see, use the platform, start seeing the value, bring in more real-time feedback that can help make the platform or software solution or technology solution adapt to what really helps. That way you can get value quickly, but also align to where it helps you the most to succeed in your job. And that's, I think, something that people need to be aware of, what possibilities we have today that probably did not exist 5 years or 10 years before.
Yeah, it's a great point. Tell me a bit more about myth 5, which is that you don't need a RIM platform because we already have document management systems and PLMs and EQMS. And what would you say to that?
I think EQMS or other document management systems are exactly what they do. They do quality management and they do document management, right? Regulatory, however, is a much more strategic function because it drives your market entry into different countries. And the workflows that you need, the documents that you manage, do not need to be all put into a document repository, which is much more general purpose, because your goal eventually is not to keep and store documents. Your goal is to actually accomplish and get a job done, which is getting safer products to market as quickly as possible. Right. And for that, I think the needs of regulatory intelligence, of managing your registration data for products across multiple global countries, which is typically today put into Excel spreadsheets because that workflow does not exist in document systems, or even change, are things that none of these systems have ever thought about in keeping in mind the end user, which is the regulatory professional. So I think those solutions are great and can be complementary in many aspects to an actual RIM solution, but there is no way they can actually do or provide the same efficiency that a RIM solution can. And a RIM specifically built for medical device companies means it's even taking into account the specific challenges of regulatory teams within medical device companies and not another industry as such.
Thank you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think the important thing is, of course, it's a commitment, like I said, transformation. But this is the only way. If we don't adapt, and we are in an industry that is pretty fast paced. Innovation is at an all-time high. We are seeing software as medical devices. We are seeing AI and machine learning in imaging and diagnostic solutions. And these are all using technology in ways to improve the life of clinicians and patients. And I think we as regulatory teams are responsible for bringing these products to market. And we should absolutely look at ways to make this easier for us. And as much as it's a commitment, I think it's a commitment towards making a positive impact. And we should adapt with changing times and become more savvy to changing ourselves to how the world is changing. Otherwise we are in the risk of being left behind, right? Both from our competitors, both from our peers who are already implementing RIM solutions and using it, and so on and so forth.
Thank you so much for speaking with me today. It's been really interesting.
Yeah, no, thank you, Ashley. Thank you for having me.